What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to be talking about a question that is quite often heard, and that is, well, why does the Pakistani man, the South Asian man, they're all the men they seem from ages 20 to 35, they seem to be financially unqualified. And then when we notice that the women out there, they're doing a really good job, mashallah, on their careers and stuff like that. So then, like, what exactly is happening? Are men just like dumb? Maybe, maybe not. This is what we're going to be discussing. We're not talking about morality. We're not talking about whether something is right or wrong. We're just going to be discussing on the reason as to why this is exactly happening. And let's get straight into it, guys. The Desi parents, the Desi household, if they have a daughter versus they have a son, when they have sons, they know that the son can protect themselves, have their own security, whatever. They are more lenient on the sons. But when it comes to the daughters, they have way more pressure than you can believe. And that is because the parents know that the women, their future relies upon security, safety, and protection. So what do? They over-optimize their daughters, give their full focus and attention and pressure on the daughters, which makes it very hard for the daughters. But on the son's side, they actually take it super easy, super lenient, because they're not worried so much about the men. The men, in a sense, kind of have to raise themselves with the understanding of failure and success. They kind of have to go through life and understand kind of on their own. But a woman, she has such extreme pressure to become successful that she has no choice to fail. She has no choice. She needs to be independent and needs to be secure, which is why the sons get overlooked, but the daughters are not overlooked. That is the first reason. Let's go on to the point number 2. Men earlier on in life, from the 20s, blah, 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 they experiment for a longer period of time. They experiment, period. I mean, to be honest with you, whatever career most women get into, they have to stay there. They have to stick with it, Otherwise, they're going to be later on the timeline. So parents will force the daughter, or whatever it may be, if she's pursuing a medical career, then she's going to stick with that. She has no choice. She doesn't have an option to leave. There's a lot of pressure on from the parents, and they have no choice but to obey, and it's rough, right? But men, on the other hand, they'll go major with a bachelor degree or something super simple, whatever it may be, right? Because there's less pressure on them. But what happens with that is, throughout their timeline, they start to experiment. They do not want to work a 9 to 5. Men's dreams is not to work a 9 to 5. Men's dream is this last business point, business. Every single man wants to open up a business. If you go eavesdrop for any kind of conversation that any men have, you can guarantee that they are not going to be talking about how to, forever climb that ladder in the corporate world. They're going to be talking about how to build that business with their friend. Because men like to take risks. Men like to take risks earlier on. While women are working, while women are studying, while women are doing whatever they're doing, men are taking risks. Men are switching paths. And again, it's not right or wrong. This is just how society is working right now. This whole culture is. And men are choosing their identity. They're finding their passions. What they're doing is they're focusing to see where the idea of business can follow through. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, if the man does not succeed in making his business, guess what he's always going to resort to? 9 to 5. Then he'll just go back to 9 to 5, brother. That's what the vibes are. So that's why the men experiment earlier on, because obviously you want to experiment before having children, because you don't want to jeopardize your children's future, jeopardize your wife. So men do not get married usually during this time frame. They like to take risks. They like to do all this other stuff. But mainly is because they have a bigger vision for this life. Now, whether it happens or not, that's a separate thing. May Allah bless us all and give us all barakah in our wealth. Ameen. But that is a secondary reason as to why, when women already have jobs and women are doing amazing, the men seem to still be working on it. It's because they're trying to build a business. That is the second reason. But this all connects down to the number 3, and we're going to write it down right now. And the last point is that men in society, how it is now, they have a social tolerance for how long it may take for them to be successful. Everyone has an understanding that men can take up to however long it may take because they're on a journey. They say men age as fine wine, right? So the more time he spends in the journey, in his passions, in his business building, they are in acceptance of the fact that men are eventually going to, inshallah, make it, so long as he's moving, so long as he's being impactful, so long as he's trying, so long as he's growing. There is that possibility of that. So when women marry men and around this age group, they're not necessarily looking at exactly where he's at right now. They're seeing where he's going to be in the future. They're going to base that off of your discipline, your work ethic, what your visions are of the future. Because even women, when they're marrying men, understand that where they are in life right now is not where they're going to be in the future. Inshallah, right? Hopefully. And so everyone naturally has an understanding that he has the time, he has a longer timeline before he figures it out entirely. So because of that, a man's going to be almost 30, 35, whatever. I mean, everyone has a different timeline. Some people make it at 20, right? Or whatever age group, on the same exact time frame, women are going to be doing so much better in their careers. And then they're going to be looking around for men who have a similar financial situation or better financial situation. But at the end of the day, I'm going to list a bullet point here that will make a lot more sense. So the risks, inshallah, that the man is doing right now may look bad right now for him, but these are the risks that pay off later. This is a domino effect into, inshallah, a greater future. So this should hopefully help. And then this is a little extra bonus points for those who are watching the video. By the time, inshallah, a man may make it, and let's say he's around 30 something years old, the problem comes to be when he looks around and he sees the women who are his colleagues and stuff, and they're already making good money, and he starts to question, well, why would I be with someone who's my age when I can get someone who's younger because I've already financially made it? You know, and that leaves a problem for the women who are similar age, unless they're also looking at men 5 years above them, which is kind of out of their colleague status. But that's where the complications happen, that's where the confusion happens, and that's just a tornado of stuff. I'm not saying this is right, I'm not saying this is wrong. This is just how it is, my brothers. This is how it is, my sisters. And that's what it is, man. Hope you guys learned something new, inshallah. Oh, in the next video, we're going to be talking about women. Why South Asian women are financially overqualified. Because I saw a video saying someone that they're overqualified. We're going to discuss that. So if you want to see that, like the video and definitely subscribe so then you can find out when I post the next video. Peace, guys.